Hey guys, welcome back to Dirt and Pavement. Today we'll be working more on the 504 here, and I just want to start taking this apart. It's a nice, warm, -6 degrees with wind gusts of 35 miles per hour here in Minnesota, so it's a little cozy in the shop. So yeah, really keeping the wood burner stoked, but not too stoked because wood's limited around here. It's not like I live in a forest. But I digress. Been working on some other projects today. I'm finally getting to the 504, and my goal is to just tear apart, and just keep her going, because that's just what we got to do. We need to reach the point of no return. Well, we are, but I want to get this fully torn apart so we can start putting it back together. I already got some parts lined up in the shopping cart. Just wait until I get everything together so I know what I need. I know everything cosmetic I pretty much need, but mechanically, there's a few things I know, but honestly, there's a few more things I need to know. And it's going to be right underneath that platform right there, as well as behind, well, I would say that filter cover, but not quite. We do need a hydraulic pump in this. I'm going to take the pump apart, and I'm going to see if I can fix it and see if I can bring back the hydraulic pressures with shims and whatnot. But I digress. She might just be too warm. So without further ado, let's get to tearing apart this 504. So starting here, probably start with the simplest things like the starter. Well, I can't really pull that out at the moment because the hydraulic lines are in the way. And the battery cable box, as well as the battery terminals here. Yeah, we'll just get right to it. And eventually I want to get the conning tower off. Oh, International, you guys love your 9/16ths. It's like a expansion pin of some sort. I wonder what that went to. How much play in the steering shaft? All of it. That was fun to deal with last summer. Wow, look at that. I think I found a little surprise here and where that little expansion pin might have went. Right there. Look at that. Well, uneducated guess here, and I just threw that pin away in the trash, but honestly I'm not that worried about it. But I think that went right here. Unless that's another pin in there. I digress though. This shaft, I do not believe is supposed to be welded to this. I believe this U-joint is supposed to slide over the shaft, and it looks like it broke or something, and they just welded it. So that is definitely something worth noting. And next up here, I can't really get the starter pulled on out, so I'm gonna pop off the hydraulic valve here. This is the, oh shoot, I can't remember, but there is an adjustable valve in here, and you can adjust basically how the hydraulic fluid flows for your power steering and hydraulics and whatnot. So we got to remove this guy right here, and then I'll be able to pull the starter on off. Well, unfortunately my crescent wrenches that I have in the shop here are all too small for this, so I got to go find a bigger one. Got to go brave the blizzard. Yep. It's actually not really much of a blizzard, just really cold. Actually, you guys just saw a video of me working on this. That video is about a month old though. I've been working on this more again, but she's just been making me want to rip my hair out, so I take a break from her every now and then. You fix one thing, the next thing breaks. You fix the next thing, and then the next thing breaks. But it really pays to have these factory service manuals. Oh, and I found this wrench inside my grandpa's, my grandpa's collection. Looked pretty rough, and then I saw a diamond, so I was like, oh, guess you can call that a diamond in the rough. Criticize me in the comments below, but I think that's pretty punny. I love using these OTC tools right here just because I don't live too far from Owatonna myself, so kind of cool when you get to use them when they're the right size. Yep, 11/16. Alright, so I wanted to make sure I labeled these so they go in the right bag. So I wanted it to have the right name for that part. So I went out and I grabbed my parts catalog here, and I'm just going to see what the name of that is. I believe it's called the flow divider. Yep, looking at it right here, flow divider valve. Next up, to remove the steering wheel. You know, do you guys like the suicide knobs? I'm going to be honest, I do. But maybe my opinion on that will change when the hydraulic pump is actually hydraulic pumping, but I like them. Well, of course the steering wheel is stuck on there, and this is a ball joint popper I usually use for my Hondas. I think I'm going to give this a try. It looks like there's little threads inside the wheel there, so you can actually thread and push it out, but I don't have any, I think like 7/16 size bolts or whatever on hand, so I'm going to make do with what I got here and see if I can't just use my nifty little ball joint popper right here and see if I can use that to make it come on home. Got my steering wheel puller here. Hopefully this will work. Nice thing is there's a little guide right in the middle of the shaft there that'll help hold the rigamaroo in place as I tighten this on down. I also made sure to put oil on the threads in the tool because I don't want to ruin this. It's kind of a nice old tool. Worst case scenario, I could probably hit it with a little bit of heat while doing this. Oh, sure enough, I wasn't recording, but that thing popped up like a jack-in-the-box and scared the bejesus out of me, but well, I'm here. There we have it. One fresh, basically brand new Farmall 504 steering wheel. Oh, I'm really kicking myself for not getting that on camera. That would have been great. Curse you, small storage space on phones. Everyone hit like, comment, and subscribe so I can afford to buy a real camera. Something worth noting that's unfortunate with my gauge cluster here, besides the fact that it never worked, I do have the other gauge sitting on my bench in the other shop, is that this is broken here, and it looks like they just patched it in the past with just a piece of sheet metal. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. Probably I'm going to weld it and grind it down, because the rest of it's fine, and I really don't feel like forking the money to buy a new one. I mean, if they're cheap enough, I'll buy a new one, but honestly, it is what it is, just a little extra work. But there was actually a lot of cool accessories he's had on them back in the day. Next up here, removing the steering shaft. I'll never find that again. Crack loose the power steering. Breaker bar here. And there we have it. This bolt was just hand tight, and I really don't blame it because it's in a hard to reach spot. So that's telling me that this has been removed before, and if that's been removed, then yeah, this tractor definitely has probably had a full tear down at least once in the past. See if this guy's loose as well. She's a little tighter, but that's in a harder to reach spot, or easier to reach spot, so it doesn't surprise me that previous owners might have taken the time to tighten that guy versus the other ones. It's a lot heavier than it looks. I think now is a fitting time to finally pop you out. Could be worse. It's actually not that bad. Still will definitely need a kit though. Need Welsh plugs. Whew. Just a little tight, I reckon. It looks like they made a custom bracket right here for something. I don't know what, but I digress. Next up here, let's try and get the TA lever off. So, judging by the looks of it, we got this nut, these springs to disconnect, connects to all this rigamaroo, disconnect that guy. Whew, a lot of linkages. I wish I just took the H apart first. That would have been a lot easier to get warmed up on the wrenching on tractors, but that's okay. You know, jump in both feet first. So I think the first thing I'm going to do here is just start pulling these pins out that retain the actual linkages in place, which should be real simple. In fact, I can do that right here without even editing to the next cut. Oh, something else fell somewhere. I'm just going to ignore that for now. And I'll put you back in. Actually, I'll stick it through the other side, just because it'll be easier for me to pop this pin back in. This little cotter pin here. And this guy right here, another cotter pin, and so forth. And then, yeah, I'll just pop all these out and rip her on off. And there goes the TA. Man, gunk can really just build up back there. Platform next here. This guy's a little bit bent. She's definitely gonna need some attention, but she's there. Well, so far we got the platform stripped off, as well as a lot of other apparatuses, and yeah, now it's kind of just bringing it bare bones. I was thinking, should I pull the transmission off, and then continue going back, because that's kind of the theme, is I strip it apart from front to back, but I kind of want to strip this back end bare, leave the wheels and tires on, and as soon as I get everything off I need to get off, then relocate the jack stands and just set it up better, take the transmission off and so forth. So that's the plan as of now. So I'm going to continue stripping it down here. I think the next things I'm going to be going for is probably these plumbing lines right here for the hydraulics. Start taking apart the draft control system and whatnot. And here's that piece of wood. This wood is really handy. It served its purpose. I would use it to chalk up the hay bine in the baler and pivot it in and out when I was ready to go from road transport mode to service mode, but I think she's going to now serve me in the wood burner here. You did me well, buddy. You served me well. If I had to pick a part on this tractor that's the hardest part to work on, it's this valve area because it is very busy. I still haven't been able to drain the fluid out of it yet because when I got sent in the square drive adapters in order to actually drain the odd plugs on these, I got sent a completely wrong thing. So she's still pumped full of hydraulic fluid. They didn't lose all the O-rings because I just replaced them, but honestly, if I gotta buy more, it's whatever. Man, hydraulic fluid is just the hardest to clean off your tools. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit a like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that hype button as well to really help the channel get out there. We didn't get as much work done today on the 504 as much as I wanted to, but we still got a lot of work done. I got a nail in my boot? Whatever. But I digress. I did get the plumbing lines out, which was a big one to me. I just want to get those out of the way. That's like the worst thing to work on these tractors, in my opinion. I'd hate just dealing with that. So that'll be fun to put back together. I still have little apparatuses and whatnot I need to take off, but I'll just save that for another video because I'm running out of room on my phone here. And I think this is a good place to wrap it up. So stay tuned for more 504 content. I got some other content in the works here that we'll be uploading. I'm trying to upload on a schedule now where right now I'm uploading on Saturdays and Sundays and Wednesdays. Those videos seem to do the best. I used to just upload boom, 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 boom the next day, but it seems like the views tend to do better on the weekends, and I enjoy doing this, don't get me wrong, but also I would like to build the channel a little bit too, so I'm going to experiment with the schedule here and see how it goes. The nice thing about that too is it makes it easier on me because I can put videos in a queue. In fact, I have a video queued already ready to be uploaded tomorrow. I could upload it this very second, but I'm just doing it as I go here, so if you guys notice a slowdown, I'm not actually really slowing down on anything, I'm just more systematically uploading my videos. So I hope you guys understand. I appreciate it. Again, please hit that like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out here with building the 504 as well as the future of the farm here. So thank you guys for watching. You guys have a good one. And stay warm because it's -17 out right now. And that was kind of hard to keep the shop above 50, 60 degrees, but I need to put in some fiberglass insulation. I'm going to be honest, the spray foam, not that impressed by it. It does a good job, don't get me wrong, but let's just say the price per foot was just overpriced, but it still kept me warm enough to comfortably work on this while it's -17 degrees outside. So beggars can't be choosers. You guys have a good one.